We're holding Daf Mem Ches. We're going to begin the last line on Daf Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Yesterday we discussed a machlekes between Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish. If a person is just koine peiros of the karka, can he maybe v'koder by bikuder or not? And now the Gemara says, "V'az the Tamayu Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish go according to their reasoning in regards to, like we said, the discussion of acquiring a field, just the produce, is it as acquiring the land as well. The Itmar stated, a person who sells his field, is man shane yevel neg, and the time when yevel is practice. And we know by yevel, every land that a person sells for its produce, really, it's only for the produce because the land returns to the original owner by yevel. So Rabbi Yechon says maybe v'kena, that even though the purchaser only really has a shaykhus to the fruits and not to the gufa karka, nevertheless he brings and he recites the psukim. Shlakish says maybe v'kena, that he brings the bikurim but does not recite the psukim. Rabbi Yechon says that the purchaser is very v'keder. Why? Because he holds kinyan peiros and kinyan guftami. Because he holds that when you are koine the peiros, it's like you acquire the actual guf of the land. So therefore, as an owner, you have to maybe v'keder. Shlakish Amar maybe v'keder. Shlakish says you bring bikurim, but you cannot read the psukim. Why? Because he holds kinyan peiros, lafkin kinyan dami. Because produce is not considered to be like the acquisition of the actual karka. Where it says it's tzricha, and it's necessary for Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish to have machlekes in both cases. If it was only said in the case in regards to, like we said yesterday, a person who's just kind of the actual produce of the land, so you would say by he come Rish Lakish. The daf over there, Rish Lakish says that a person should not recite it. The chikanachis, I like the perikanachis, because in that case, when he descended into the field to take possession of the land, he descended with the kavana of requiring only the produce, as in the Tanai of the sale. But in this case, with regards to a person who purchases a field, when Yevel is practiced, the gufa when he descended to the field with the kavana of requiring the land itself, maybe we would think that Rish Lakish agrees to Rabbi Yechon. Therefore, it's necessary to state explicitly that Rish Lakish holds that he does not recite the psukim in this case as well. And if it was only stated in this case with regards to a person who purchases the field when the Yevel year is practiced, so you would think, well, how come Rabbi Yechon Dafka? Over there, Rabbi Yechon says that being koine, the item itself, being koine, you have to recite the psukim as he purchased the field to fully own it. But in the first case, when he's koine only the peiros, you would think that he holds a Rish Lakish. Therefore, he has to tell me that in both cases, being koine of the peiros is like being koine of the karka. Now the Gemara brings another raya to Rabbi Yechon Zafi. Tashma, come and bring a raya from the following Mishnah. Bikurim. A koine ilon of a karka yesef, a person who acquires a tree and its surrounding lands. What does he do? Maybe v'kera. He brings the first fruits of those trees and recites the psukim, even though he is required to return the land by Yevel. So what do we see from here? We see that it may be v'kera. So when it says and that Bryce is talking about, that Mishnah is talking about was when Yevel is not neg. Tashman, now I want to bring another raya to Rabbi Yechon's opinion in the Kedesh Leilon specific a person who acquires two trees in another field. So maybe v'kera. He brings, but he doesn't actually recite the psukim. However, Harshlein should be v'kera. But if he buys three trees, he brings bikurim of those trees and recites the psukim, because he also acquires the land surrounding the trees, despite the fact that it's returned in Yevel. So the answer is the same answer that we're talking about when Yevel the year is not practiced. So the says v'hashta or Rechista, and now that Rechista said that machlekes b'Yevel sheni and machlekes between Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish with regard to the land sold during the Yevel sheni. In other words, after the Jewish people already practiced one Yevel, and people could be trusted that the land would be returned to by Yevel year, Al Yevel Rishon. But with regard to the land sold during the first Yevel, which was practiced by the Gittin immediately after they came into Israel, everybody will agree that you bring it and you read. Why? Because they did not yet rely on the fact that the fields would be returned. There's no need to claim that according to Rishlakish, these Mishnahs are referring to when the Yovel year was not practiced. Because the Mishnah states that he brings the first fruits and recites of something, are referring to the land that's sold during the Yovel edition. And that, when Rishlakish ruled that he brings the first fruits but does not recite the Psukim, is referring to the land of the Yovel Hasheni. The one says, we say that this is a machlekes, that this machlekes v'tinerish Beichel Rishlakish is parallel to the machlekes of Tanaim. Now, the halacha is that if a person was makdish but then I redeem his te'achuzah and the gizber now sold it to another yid, it becomes the property of the kain in Yovel. However, if a person purchased the field from another yid and was makdish it reverts back to the original owner of Yovel. So now the Brisa says, where do we know that one who purchases a field from his father at the time when Yovel was practiced, and he was makdish to the Beis Hamikdash, and then his father died. From where do we know that it should be considered performed like a ste'achuzah and it does not revert to the sons of ownership in Yovel? Therefore, the Brisa says, and if he was makdish to Hashem a field which he has bought, which is not in the field of the ste'achuzah, now from the additional shot, which is not in the field of the ste'achuzah, teaches us the halacha that the field reverts to the original owner, applies specifically to a field that is not which means a field that is not fit for ste'achuzah, meaning that he would not inherit in the future. That's a zush, really is ste'achuzah, this field which would exclude as it is fit to be a ste'achuzah, although the son purchased it. Even if sure, but if the Shimon, the Meir says, from where do we know that the person who buys a field from his father at the time when the Yovel year was practiced, and then his father died, and then afterwards he was makdish, actually the fun of ste'achuzah? From where do we know that it's right that it should be considered reform like a ste'achuzah? Sada she'ein ste'achuzah, that's a ste'achuzah. Now, so the Gemara explains why the Tanaim do not require teach the halacha in the case discussed by the Meir. And therefore, and therefore, in the case that he inherits nothing when his father dies, as he had already taken ownership of the field when he purchased it from his father. And nothing changed with his father's death. Therefore, his father died, and then he was makdish the field. So, then the pasuk is necessary to teach that it's treated like a ste'achuzah, as one may have thought that the field is entirely as a result of the purchase, not because of the ste'achuzah. The Shimon Nesavri can appears lafkin dufdami, and the Yehuda Shimon hold that the kinyan aguf is not considered like kinyan aguf. Kinyan appears as lafkin kinyan aguf dami. But why? Therefore, Mises Aviv Hashlu the Koyaris. And therefore, in the case when he purchased the field from his father before his father died, with the death of the father, he now inherits the field. I can tell you that and they hold that is this so the it says not for the fact that Rabbi Yechon said that the acquisition of an item for its produce is considered to be like the acquisition of the item itself, then he would not find this has in the Beis Medrash. In other words, there would be a steer in Rabbi Yechon's statement. Why? Brothers who divide a field, the Yerusha of the field, the Kuchas, they're considered as purchasers. And what happens is, and each other, they must return the portions to each other by Abel, at which they then redistribute the property. So with that, now if you say that when buying a field is lafkein guftami by Abel, so the Meshach is a Maisi B'Kurim Melachad Chad Parchad Yeshua Benun, you're never going to find and a person could bring Bikurim only when he is an only child, the son of an only child, dating back to the time of Yeshua. So we're now Kram Asisim Asait Rish Lakish. A pasuk supports Rish Lakish. The Hab Mispar Shnei Toisim Kulach. According to the number of the years of the crops he shall sell to, meaning that he is not the field itself that is sold, but rather what is sold is the right to consume the produce for the specific years. Like the Tanya, a Bryce supports the opinion of Shlakish. As it says, our firstborn son takes a double portion in a field that returns to the father in Yevel. We have a tradition that a husband requires harsha authorization with regards to his wife's property. Well, everyone the linach is up here. We said this halacha only with regard with the other litigant did not go down to the Beis Din to claim concerning the produce. If he went down to the Beis Din to claim concerning the produce, then we get the Mishnah, since the husband speaks in front of the Beis Din about the halachas concerning the produce, Kufi also speaks in front of the Beis Din about the halacha concerning the land itself, and therefore he does not require harsha from his wife. So then the new Mishnah, Hani Zokin, in regards to if somebody gets damaged, so now somebody got damaged and the guy who damaged does not have money to pay, but he has field. So when we evaluate the field, we evaluate the Be'idis at the best part of the guy's field. If a person, a creditor, collects his chayiv from the guy who owes the money, is Beinis. When it comes to Ksubazisha, the next part of the Mishnah, if a person owes somebody money and he has the Chasam Shabadim and the Chasam with Rabbi and first you have to go to the Chasam B'nei Afilim Ziburis, even if they are the Ziburis of the guy who owes the money. If one owed money died. If one who owed money died and his children inherited the property, the father's chayu can be collected from the property of the orphans only minaziburis. For the shvach karkois, we do not take away the achilas peres, the shvach karkois. For the muzayna, and the Gemara will explain more of this. For the muzayna isha v'abanis, and similarly, payments for the sustenance of a man's wife and daughters cannot be collected from the chasam shvadim. They take an elam. A mitzvah, a person who finds a mitzvah, also the yishav, they take an elam. You're telling me that this is all taken elam, which would imply that Hani Zakin is compensated from Edis, which they take an elam. What did I see? We know it's the Isaac. Say, Metos Sadeo, Metos Karmi Yishalom. Pasuk says of the best of his own field and the best of his own, even there shall he pay. So why are you saying taking an elam? So the Amar Abai, let's say, this is only for Rabbi Shmuel. The Amar of the Isaac and the Nitzuk Shemin, who said that according to Mididaisa, we appraise the property of the injured party. In other words, when we appraise the Idius, we appraise it how much the Idius the Nizik has. What if the Mazik is very wealthy? We don't care. Mididaisa, the Nizik Shemin. So therefore, he teaches us in the Mishnah, the Mazik, we appraise the property of the one who caused the damage. What is the statement of Rabbi Shmuel that Abai says? Tanya, the part Tanya. The best of his own field, and the best of his own vineyard shall he pay. This teaches us that the appraisal is of the best quality of the field of the injured party and the best quality of the field of the vineyard of the injured party. Shmuel says the pasuk only comes to allow injured parties to collect compensation from Edius and the Kalchemer Lehegbish.